Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content here in this video, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Doing those three things doesn't cost you a dime and it helps the channel immensely. For those of you that do want to invest more in your game and become a better player quicker, then you can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link that is in the description down below, patreon.com/golfclashtommy. And for those that are looking for more free content as well, our website golfclashtommy.com is the place where you can find loads and loads on loads of free content to learn from. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get to the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. So for hole number 8, what I would like you all to do is actually to play with a special ball here, if you can. I know that there's obviously a very solid way of just using a long iron on the second shot to give ourselves a nice way to the eagle, which is option number 1 in our guide. But this is option number 2, and now we're gonna utilize one of our new precision ball. 3 left, 3 top spin, start at the just after +1, or like just below +1, which is a max line with a power 0 ball. Max +10, half a ball of left curl, and then the goal is to get the ball safely down the fairway. Again, you don't have to play with a precision ball, but you have to play with a power 0 ball if you're gonna play the shot here shown. 342 yards. Second shot, now we're going to play here with our sniper. Pack the grizzly to easier find min lines. You move up to min, and then you move, then you push up rings from min to have your target on the fringe. It's very important that you have your target on the fringe. Backspin to get the ball guideline 1 green square through the hole. And from here, we're gonna use min minus 20% elevation P5 as our base. So we're gonna use that adjustment from min line. And then for every ring we push up, we're adding 0.1. Very important that you do play with a small, or like a favor 1159 here. Making the adjustment, also making sure to pull over bullseye, center the ball, and hit perfect. And this is going to be a very good chance for you to getting a drop here on hole number 8. Again, you don't have to play this shot. This is an alternative. We obviously have another option in the guide as well for those that you want to pin down and play for a long iron to pin instead. For a POC 5, 6, 7 and 8, we start with a power 4 ball in NMT, then we swap directly to a power 5 ball, wind 2 or wind 3 ball. 5.8 top spin, and we're going to use 1 left spin. For those of you playing with Apocalypse level 4, play with a power 5 ball directly from start, because then you will open up at max, and that's going to be compensated for if by using a P5 ball compared to using a P4 ball with a POC 5+. Adjust max +10 P3. We're going to go full curl to the right and try to hit perfect. Great right and great left are just fine. We do have a lot of fairway to play on, but we want to keep ourselves closer to the right side than to the left side, aiming for around 400 yards. Second shot, now we're going to play with our Cataclysm because we are going to be needing to use a lot of power, and the sniper won't cut it, especially if you have it in a lower level. Top of the yellow ring by the rough line with Cat 8 is going to be different overlaps with other Cat levels, obviously due to different accuracy. This is the angle we want to have, because this is a do-nothing angle. We play 2.8 backspin and 2 right spin, ball guideline through the hole. Now we're using +12 as our base. That's 100% slider with no elevation P5 numbers. Center the ball and hit perfect, and we are going to bounce into the rough nicely, and we roll to get a nice albatross here from distance on hole number 9. Here we're gonna start with the quarterback in NMT, and then we swap to a poke and thorn bag, all the top spin and one right spin. This is a shot that is a little bit more aggressive option for a poke 7 plus. We do have option for a poke 4 plus as well. This is as now an alternative option. We're pushing up 3 rings after we have made our adjustment, which is max plus 10 P5, and then we're using 0.4 ball of right curl, so it's not entirely half a ball of right curl. Max overpower with a slower needle, try to hit perfect. We want this ball to roll somewhere between 400 to 410 yards. For those that do want to play with an even slower needle, you can use a Win 5 ball, Win 5 P1 ball, Win 5 P5 ball, and have a much slower needle. On the second shot, we're gonna use our thorn and go with backspin. We use +2 as a reference with fringe check, using all the backspin. Now we're using the tip of the ball guideline to be when looking at it from this direction, which is the recommended way of setting it up. It should be just into the final green square, pointing towards the right side of the cup. +2 fringe check, +9 fringe check is our base, which is 92% slider with an 80% over adjustment, power 5 ball settings. Then we're adding and subtracting 0.1 from there. If we do have a pin check, then we're going to use +2 as a base, and +2 is going to be 92% slider, plus 80% elevation, P5 numbers. Yes, 80 is the correct elevation. We're using a lot of elevation here to making sure that we are getting our drop. This is a really good chance for an eagle, but the drive is obviously everything. If you don't get the drive to where we want to, you're gonna have to be a bit innovative and at least make sure to secure the birdie. On hole number 3, we'll see a shot that is adapted for those of you that do have a little bit lower level clubs. I would recommend to always go with all the topspin that you can though, even if you have a club that do have more topspin. Red ring by the rough line at the top of +24. It is to adapt for those that do want to play with Apocalypse level 4 as well. Max +10 P5, push up to max 5.8 topspin is what I'm using here, and here is where I mean that you should be going all the topspin that you possible can, because obviously the further down the fairway we are, the better it's going to be. 1 ball of left curl, and we are going to go max overpower. If I forgot to mention that, we're always going to push up to max as well. Now the goal is to get that little rollout here. We do want to get above 435 yards in my opinion. We're going to have the second shot based off our drive distance is what's going to decide what amount of topspin we're going to use. Now we want you to use the wood club that gives you the most power possible. Always 2 left spin, and here depending on what type of drive yardage you have, that's what topspin we're gonna use. So if we're having a drive yardage that is above 440, we're gonna use 4.5 bar topspin and 2 left spin. Stretch out to max to try to aim for the hole. Adjust is max +10 P5, and then we're going to go with max overpower from absolute max lines. We're always going to push up to max. This to try to simplify this type of shot where we are not pushing for the albatross at all. So max overpower, the needle is shaky, try to hit perfect. The ball will be on the green if done as we want it to be. Obviously there will be times where we will clip the rough, especially with shorter drives. We may clip the rough with our second shot, and then we're gonna have a wedge, and that wedge plays EB school +20 P5 no spin.
Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guide for the Driving Legends 9-hole cup, a mix of the Quail Hollow and the Old Bridge Park. We do have steady winds, which means that you will benefit from having the same wind in the qualifying round as you will have in the final round. An even better chance then to try out our guides to really see if it works for you in qualifying and then also in the final round. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. For Expert, we look to cater to free-to-play balls and paid balls when it comes to Apocalypse level 4 plus as our base driver. Obviously, the rock, quarterback and drivers like that will occur as well depending on situation. When it comes to Master, it's free to play balls, it's paid balls as well, where Apocalypse level 5 and or the Extra Mile level 9 will be the lowest driver where we go. So make sure to try out our guides, patreon.com/golf/Tommy, link in the description down below.
So on the drive here on hole number 2, we're gonna go with 3 left spin, 5.8 top spin, stretch out to max to have the ball guideline to point, have the third bounce into the sand with a poke 5, 6, and 7 and 8. A poke 4 is gonna have the ball guideline pointing with the direction into the sand. Now adjust max plus 10 P3, we're gonna push up 6 yards with a poke 4 after the adjustment, and with the other clubs we're not gonna do anything. 1.5 ball of left curl, try to hit perfect. Here there is no need to play with anything else than a kingmaker in my opinion, but you obviously can play with a win 4 ball if you would like as well. .385 yards or better is what we're looking for. On the second shot we're gonna use our thorn and we're gonna use the bottom of the white ring to do a pin check. +3 is our base, and that's going to be 50% slider with a -10% elevation, P3 numbers. 1 right spin and half a bar of top spin. Now look at my yellow ring by the rough line, ball guideline to just go into the left side of the cup. Always in our guides we're pulling over the bullseye, and that's what we're gonna do now as well. So we're pulling over the bullseye. Then we're gonna center the ball and hit perfect. I'm just gonna correct the centering there. That's perfect. And now perfect ball it is, and we get the ball to bounce into the rough, rolls lovely into the hole dead center for a lovely eagle here in hole number 2. For the drive on hole number 3, we're gonna play on the pad that is there on the right. We're looking to have the bullseye centered on the fairway, but more importantly, look at the position of your rings. It should be as equal amount away from the rough line. So you can see I'm looking at the blue ring here as a reference, starting at max P3 line. 3.5 top spin and 3 left spin. Adjustment is max plus 5% elevation, P3 numbers. And once we are done with the adjustment, we're gonna use, as you can see here, we're gonna use 1.5 ball of left curl, and I'm also gonna be just before circled drop overpower, which is approximately half a ring of overpower. The goal here is to get this ball consistently up on the fairway by leaving ourselves then a long iron towards the pin. You see we bounce on the fairway, up on the fairway, and now we do have an open shot towards the pin with, in my opinion, a very good chance for a drop. On the second shot you can decide to either do rings from min, or you can go for a fringe check. I personally prefer a fringe check as it goes quicker for me, but it's up to you to decide what feels the quickest for you. 2.5 top spin, and we are using half a bar of right spin. Now I'm looking at to have the ball guideline through the hole like that, with the red ring to be just by the rough line. And it is important to have the red ring just by the rough line, because if you're off the rough line, you're gonna see yourself being either missing right or missing left, because you kind of have to have that reference point spot on, as that would otherwise control the outcome of your shot. So when it comes to the back frame check, we're using a 28% slider with with minus 5% elevation, P3 numbers. And then we're adding or subtracting 0.1 from there. Obviously, a perfect ball is preferred. A great ball will most definitely miss. On the drive, we start with the quarterback in NMT, then we're swapping to our APOC and sniper bag. We're gonna play with 3 right spin, and we're gonna play 5.8 top spin. Adjust its max plus 10 P3. And then we're gonna go with full curl to the right and max overpower with a completely slow needle. Here I value consistency. My goal here is to consistently get ourselves to a sniper that we do have a good chance to drop, and that's going to be a yardage that is approximately 340 yards. On the second shot, we are going to do a top white ring check by the fringe, and we're going to go 3 left, 4 back, and we are going to have the ball guideline just into the hole. You can see here now, top of the white ring to be just there at +5 is where we're at now. Obviously, when it comes to sniper 9, it's going to be +7 that has the same numbers as +5 with sniper 10. Now, adjust is going to be 40% slider, minus 10% elevation, P3 numbers, and that's going to be our base from +5. We're adding or subtracting 0.1 for every 2 yards. Bounces nicely on the fairway, up onto the green, and we roll dead center for a lovely eagle on a tough hole such as hole number 4. On hole number 5, we're gonna start at the +0 yard mark, which is just before +1, obviously. 5.8 top spin or side spin. Here I would recommend to play with a power 5 ball that gives you the most wind resistance possible. So the more wind resistance, the better. Now, looking at the red ring's position in relation to the rough line on the right, adjust is going to be max +10 power 5. And once we have used max +10 power 5, we're going to go max overpower with a slower needle. And here is where a lot of wind resistance will be helpful. Like if you have a wind 4 or a wind 5 ball, the needle will be very slow, and it's obviously going to be easier to hit perfect. You can play even with a berserker if you would like, but obviously the needle will be very shaky. Bounces 2 times before the rough and it rolls over, and now we're gonna play ourselves either to just be super ultra safe for an eagle, or we can actually go and do some sort of an attack to the pin. Alright, so this may not be the best shot I've done in my life, but I wanted to show you that for those of you that do have a lot of topspin on your wood club on your second shot, can try to attack the pin. The only problem for us here in the video is that I'm actually using overpower, which is a mistake of mine. I'm aiming way left of the pin here, using the second bounce to be just by the edge of the rough line, and adjust is what I'm using, max +10 P5. So in my mind here, I'm just thinking, alright, I rather want to have a putt than I would like to have a wedge on the side. I know we are taking a risk being just by the water, so obviously I need to have that in mind. So, but the idea here is to bounce and then into the rough and then roll out. Now you can see that overpower almost destroyed everything for me, and obviously I'm rolling long, and now I do have a kind of a long putt, which is obviously very makeable. But if you're not interested in doing this over the water, you can lay up just left of the green, and you can get yourself a wedge from there. So it's all about what you prefer. This wind, very difficult on an already difficult par 5. On the drive, we start with the quarterback at max P5 line. Doesn't have to be a luminary here. You can play with a win 2, win 3, or even a win 1 if you would like to. I do recommend a win 3 ball though, as of the adjust on the second shot definitely is preferred with lesser winds. 4.8 topspin, then swap to an Apocalypse and Sniper bag, adjust max +10 P4, and then it's max overpower with a slow needle and try to hit perfect. Great left and great right are just fine, but this is a difficult par 4, a long one, and we're gonna end up with a sniper on the second shot, which is going to be a difficult one to consistently drop. We're looking to get our drive distance to around 380 yards. On the second shot, we're gonna add spins first. The spin A, which is 2 left and 1 back. And then we're gonna push up from min, so we get the ball guideline to be 1 green square short of the pin. And you can see here how glitchy everything is, and it's all about finding a decent spot. So 1 green square before the hole, then I'm changing to 1.5 backspin and 1.5 left spin. You can see here that the offset is pretty big to the right, and sure, you can go with the ball guideline directly there, but I like to start by aiming at the hole first and then do a spin swap for more consistency. Now, when it comes to the adjustment, we are going to go rings from min with our sniper, and we're going to use P5 numbers. And we're going to, in this instance, we're going to go no elevation, P5 numbers. And we're dropping it dead center for a lovely eagle here on a tough hole such as hole number 7.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division here with various wins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Scan the QR code here on the screen, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. That will take you to our premium guides where you can subscribe and start improving your game today. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.